Welcome back. It is a beautiful day and I am really glad that you're here and able to join us. So today's topic, my brother, is how to build and enforce healthy boundaries. Anger is the emotion related with reacting to a boundary being crossed. When you feel like a boundary has been crossed with you, which you might not know existed, you'll feel angry. You'll feel a bit of resentment, a bit of anger inside of you, intuitively. So it's important to not only pay attention to when this happens, but to also control it, because an inflated and within the male, manosphere, by this book that I've been reading, this is considered to be the warrior archetype within you, and the warrior upholds boundaries. And so an inflated warrior will use this anger and lash out and react, sometimes abuse, take it a bit too far. So it's important to not inflate our inner warrior. So then, therefore, a mature, balanced warrior, how would he react to a situation like this? So you felt a boundary being crossed. You felt angry, you felt that anger rise. First, you have to realize that you're angry. You have to realize that you're angry, and then you have to say, you know what? It's okay. I know you're here. You're welcome to stay, and it's okay. That's what you say to yourself in your head. Literally, it works. It's crazy, but it works. For there to be light, there must be darkness, and you must shine your light into that darkness. Otherwise, the darkness will still be there. So you have to realize, shine your light to your brain and realize, okay, I'm getting angry. Control it. You want to use a breathing technique, you want to not speak, you want to walk away. That's your coping mechanism, but control it, okay? Use whatever technique you want, but control it. And then, when you're ready to talk, you talk with no emotions, okay? It's really important to keep out envy, jealousy, vengeance, hatred, resentment out of this. When you're ready to talk about your boundary being crossed, you do not talk about it with anger, okay? Let me repeat that again. Do not talk about it with anger, jealousy, vengeance, intent to hurt or harm. Do not. So until then, you take a break. So what we've done so far is we've understood that anger is the emotion that comes up when your boundary is being crossed. We learned that you must not use this anger as a reason to lash out, whether verbally or physically. You must learn to first identify this anger and then control it, whatever you do. And then you must take a break, however long you need, to get away from that emotion, to get away from that anger, and come back to the person and talk about the issue without emotions, okay? And how much you bring it up. You have to be very clear and very direct. You have to say something along the lines of, listen, with all due respect, I felt like what you did earlier, X, Y, and Z, had crossed a boundary within me, and I feel like that's not okay, and I'd like to talk about this. You let them know that you won't put up with it, again, respectfully. And if they don't want to cooperate, you have to also let them know, hey, if this is a deal breaker for you, I understand, we should part ways. You have to be willing to drop them, dude, in a moment's notice. You have to literally say, if this is a deal breaker for you, I get it, it's over. Go, kick rocks with your head down. Obviously don't say that, but that's the conviction that you need to have behind your words and behind your intention. That's how you deal with boundaries healthily, okay? Now, then, what are some boundaries? How do you know? You can't really know that you have. There's two ways I see it. You don't know if you have a boundary until it's being crossed, or until you define it clearly. So there's two ways you can go about this, and I recommend the second one. You define your own boundaries, what you will and what you won't put up with. A lot of boundaries are formed as you grow up over time anyway. Your warrior learns to adapt and build up certain walls to keep people out, and then let down other certain walls to allow people in. So that's really important. So as you go through, you'll have a basic understanding of what you will and what you won't accept anyway. But you've got so much life ahead of you. So as you keep developing as a person, new boundaries will come up eventually. And it's really important to identify them or define them, and then healthily deal with them. Never lash out. That is the last thing you want to do. Always be calm and collected, and however long that takes. But some boundaries, you might not put up with is lying. Lying is just shit. And if someone is lying a lot, you might want to have that conversation with them. Another thing is maybe jealousy. Jealousy, it can be a dramatic thing, it can be tough, and you might not put up with that. Another thing is your boss maybe verbally abusing you. I hope not physically, Jesus Christ, but maybe verbally abusing you, preventing you from opportunities, actively refusing to give you maybe promotions or something. That's a boundary, dude. You have rights there, and you should have that conversation and say, listen, look, if you're not, able to respect me in this manner, then I will leave, and, good luck to you and stuff. Another thing might be physical boundaries, obviously. Another thing is feeling listened to, That's almost like a boundary, because people, when they express terrible emotions or stories, oftentimes they just want to be listened to. They don't want to be given advice. And you, by just not understanding that and keep on talking and giving advice, well, you're crossing a boundary. They just opened up to you and you're just spilling fucking advice. You're lecturing them. Like, dude, come on, relax. But those are some things, man. Again, man, I have to say, do not do this out of hatred. Do not have this conversation out of resentment, hatred, jealousy, anything like that, vengeance. Clear your mind. Be water. Be like water. Formless. Breathless.